Hi guys, happy Wednesday. Pardon the no FaceTime today. I'm in a bit of a rush. I realize my timing for taking my youngest to the dentist is going to be tight. So we're going to get straight down to it today. Welcome to Stamping A to Z, my series to show you all our wonderful products and how to use them and techniques and new ways to use them. So if you have them, it'll hopefully inspire you to pull them out and use them. If you don't already have them, you might decide you want some of them to be able to do these things. Anyways, so today we're going to look at, I don't know if you can hear that. It is our snowy white velvet. So the velvet is on a piece of paper. So you can cut it really easily. You can die cut it, whatever. It's not like velvet fabric but it still totally feels like velvet on the one side. So I'm going to show you a couple different ways to use the velvet, other than the obvious of just cutting it out and using it or having it in the background. So my first way to use this, so I have a piece here of the velvet that I've cut, and I'm going to take our Evergreen Forest 3D embossing folder. I'll put this inside. So with these embossing folders, you know that the top is always the one that has the Stampin' Up! Symbol on it. So that's the part where it's going to be raised. And so the line here also helps you make sure that it's straight if it is not a pattern that you want kind of straight on your card. And I just want to leave a bit of empty space there. So then I'm going to take my Big Boss here. Oh, I forgot to turn it on to make sure it's on and running. Please remember, say hi if you're watching. Doesn't always tell me who's watching. Love to know when you're here and watching. And there's a button that should pop up that says share. If you want to share it with your friends, that would be awesome. The more the merrier to watch and to comment. It's fun. It's a little more interactive. Get a conversation going. So the velvet actually takes embossing really well. So you can see here we have a nice tree background. Hopefully you can see that. So when we add it to a card, I have used our wonderful, I thought I'd start using it now. I can't wait for my paper pumpkin to come. I think it's supposed to arrive towards the end of the week. It coordinates with this Peaceful Place suite. So that is where you will find the snowy white velvet, which is where this came from. And then for this card, I'm using the Peaceful Cabin and the dies that go with it. So that's these. It's a cling stamp set, and then lots of really fun dies. I've kind of shown this a couple times before, but anyways, I've stamped the little cabin, and then I cut it out with the die. I stamped the trees and then cut it out with the die. And they all can just layer. I probably would cut this down, but they can all layer on top of each other. Now, you could add a little bit of color to this with some sponge daubers, but for this one, I'm going to keep the color pretty subtle. Just going to add some Wink of Stella. And the nice thing with Wink of Stella, now this one is a little bit runny because I added some alcohol, so it's not working as well as the real Wink of Stella, because normally if you have just a Wink of Stella without alcohol added to it, it acts like a blend and it kind of spreads your ink around, which it's doing a little bit, but not as much as it normally would. You'll see in my finished project that it really spreads the green around, but it is spreading it around a little bit. Okay. So now I've got some super shiny trees to add to my more subtle trees. I just thought this is perfect with the embossed velvet to add. And actually, before I do that, for snow, it's nice to add a little bit of the Pool Party to the darker spots, and then it kind of makes your snow pop a little more. And then obviously I would want to color my cabin. And I just discovered something today, you guys. So I don't know if you can see, it's pretty bright right now, but my tip is kind of white. I was naughty, and I think I colored something I probably shouldn't, perhaps embossing powder, and I kind of killed my tips. Some of them aren't working so well. So one was really dry, and the color, like without totally bending it, I couldn't get the color to come out. So I dipped it in some rubbing alcohol, and it totally came back to life. So if you have that problem, try dipping it in alcohol, and it seems to bring the tip back. Just a little tip there. Okay, so then again, the Wink of Stella to really make it kind of snowy and sparkly, because snow isn't just flat. So you could cut these ones. I did contemplate cutting these ones out of velvet as well and having it really textured. But even with just the sparkle. So here is my finished card. So I've got my trees, my little cabin. There's a fence you can add. You can cut out this little, I don't know if it's a dog or a coyote or a wolf or something, but you can have a whole other hill for him as well. This one, he does get stamped, so you can stamp it. You can cut it out as well. There's other trees. These stars are from this, you can do the reverse cut. I had paper cardstock already on the foam adhesive sheets, so that's what I used to cut it out. But I feel like maybe they're a little too popped up. I think they would have been better off flat. Hi, Yolande. Nice to see you're on and watching. So anyways, that is my first velvet technique using the Peaceful Cabin. Next up is one I saw someone else do, and it's actually super fun. Who knew that velvet did this? I don't know. My internet shouldn't be skipping. I have a booster in here, so hopefully it's yours. But it could possibly be. I don't see it skipping on my iPad that I'm watching on. But hopefully it is. I need to set my camera stand in a different way, because I find it really shakes when I'm stamping and moving, and I feel like I'm making you guys seasick. Okay, so I have stamped directly onto the velvet with Memento, so it stamps really well. You just want to make sure that it's dry before you do this next step. So I'm just going to give it a quick once over to make sure it's not going to bleed on me. It dries really fast, but just because it's sitting on the fabric. We're going to make sure it's dry. So then what you can do is, I can't remember if I used, you can go around. I hear my puppy. I shut her out of the room. She's not too happy with me. She was barking too much. So then you can put some color on, and then you take your color lifter. I need a piece of scrap here. Hang on. Just make sure there's no color on it. And then you're just going to take it, and it actually blends it into the velvet and colors it for you. Isn't that cool? It spreads it out. I thought that was the coolest thing. So again, you're just pulling the color and then coloring your velvet. Same thing with the berries. This one I probably won't use my blender, but you can just, it colors very well with the blends. And then for the cake part, I'm going to use soft suede, and we'll pull it around here. Because I just thought that I decided to do, so this is from the Sweets and Treats stamp set that's in our mini catalog. It's a standalone stamp set. There's no dies, but it's super cute. Like, I love giving treats at Christmas time, like teachers, whoever. I usually give kind of a fancy cookie dough jar and stuff. So this is a nice one for that. Okay, so then I'm just going to come in and pull it, oops, wrong side. Hopefully your internet's back up and running, Yolande. Now, I did find when I did this that the color lifter, this one, if you leave things wet and you go to color something with a different color, it will bleed. So just make sure either you give it time to dry in between, or I'm going to speed things up here. Make sure it's good and dry. And then I just colored in my fruit. This one and this one. And then you just keep going. And then all I did was I fussy cut it out. So here, I'll show you. So this is the stamp set, and it can be found on page 11 of our mini catalog. It's so super cute. It does go with the Clush dies. So there's a whole, this one, there's a whole other set with the, it's called a Clush, like a bell. And there's actually the shaker domes that go with them as well. So you can use this to cut this out as well, but this you can totally use just as a stamp set. Oh, I'm glad you're okay now. So anyways, this is the little cake, and then I just stamped on regular white paper, and then I just cut this guy out and added him, and it just has that fun velvet texture to it. So I just thought that was super cute Christmas cake. I don't know if people make Christmas cake anymore. My parents used to make it every year. It was like a big, a whole weekend of them and their friends making batches and batches. I never actually took a liking to it, so I don't even know. I tasted it. I just never really caught on for me. So okay, so our next one, I'm going to emboss it again, but then I'm going to do something different. So I don't know if you guys noticed this. I almost missed it. It's in the annual catalog, and they're the little mini embossing folders. But not only, so most of the minis are just regular embossed, but these ones are the 3D, and both of them are super cute. But I use the snowflakes, if I can get it out. Which one is the snowflake here? So there's 2 in the package. And they fit in our mini, what are they? I call it the mini boss, but that's the cut and emboss machine. So it does fit super nicely in here, but I'm using it on a larger sheet. So I'm going to use it in the regular Big Boss. So again, it has to show you where the top is, and you can line it up. I'm going to go right to the edge because my paper is wider. Come back in here. So with the 3D embossing folder, all you need is your base #1 plate and then the 3D embossing plate, which is #4. Okay, so I've got that, and I'm gonna run it through a second time. So I'm just gonna open it up and I'm gonna move it over and try and put it at a good place here. Not too overlapping, but a little bit. I don't know if you can see that. You gotta make sure that it's not too overlapping so it doesn't fit. So I'm just gonna push it in a little so that it fits here. Make sure that I'm not bending my paper. Let's put this on. So the part that you already embossed is fine because it's not being squished. The embossing folder keeps it from being smushed, so it's all good that way. So if we open it up here, you can kind of see a line, but you'll see that with what I do, you don't end up seeing it. So then I took my stamping spritzer and I put some alcohol and some Blushing Bride into it. Just move everything around because I'm going to make a mess. I'm going to get a baby wipe to wipe up my mess. And you're just going to spritz it. And you spritz it as dark. I could add more color to my alcohol if I wanted it darker, or I can just keep, it's a lot of alcohol. Ugh, need some ventilation in here. Okay, if I stop talking, you'll know I'm on the floor somewhere. Okay, so you can see it does wet the paper a little bit, especially where the paper was broken. So before you do anything else, again, you want to let it dry. But as usual with the magic of video, we will set this one aside. Actually, maybe I should. I'll just show you. You'll know how to. So I ended up, I'm not going to tear it while it's wet because you can see it's still wet. It won't tear well, but it tears really easily. Let me just do this corner just so you can see, like, even though there's velvet there, it tears really easily. So I just tore down. So you kind of lose that, like you can see there was a line there, but as it dries, the embossed part just kind of starts to blend. And then this snowflake is from the Wonderful Snowflakes, which is in our mini catalog. And it is, I think I forgot to mark it. I can't remember which suite it's out of. So if you're ever looking for accessories, the back of the catalog of the minis has them all divided up into sections. So the accents and embellishments. So here's the Wonderful Snowflakes. And then it tells you what page you can find them on. So on page 25. And then we'll find out what suite it belongs to. Oh yes, the whimsical trees, the beautiful whimsical trees. So these are like iridescent. They are not sticky. And at first I was like, oh, how am I gonna stick these down? They're as thin and fragile as they look. They do pull out quite easily. And this little middle part fits a dimensional perfectly. So you really don't have to worry about sticking down the actual snowflake part. And then my little May Your Season Sparkle comes from the Snowflake Wishes. You might already have this in your collection. It was out last year as well. So this one you can find in the annual catalog if you don't already have it. But it was out last year. So it has these beautiful dies that go with it. So you could even add some more snowflakes if you wanted to cut out more. And then it has the nice sentiments. So there's actually a couple snowflake sets out. There's one in the mini, there's this one, and I feel like there's another one. And then the label I cut out with the Hippo and Friends dies, which it's funny that it you wouldn't think that the Hippo and Friends, I think this is still current. Man, I should have checked. I'm pretty sure. I try to only use the current stuff, but for those of you that have been around for a while, might have it. You can always use something else. Yeah, Hippo and Friends. Okay. Phew. Scared myself for a minute. So anyway, it's super simple. So I just tore a piece of smoky slate, tore the velvet, added the sentiment with some white embossing powder, and voila, pretty simple, easy card. So yeah, the velvet is super fun to play with. If you guys have other ways that you've used your velvet, I would love to hear from you. And you can comment if you've done something else or leave a picture. But those are the few ways that I've used my velvet. So once again, embossing it is always fun, and then you can color it any color. I do believe we do have red velvet in the mini catalog right now as well. So if you really want a deep red, there is red, deep red velvet as well. But as you can see, you can color your velvet to any color that you want. So then we have our snowflakes, and then we have our little treat. So I showed this to my husband last night, and he thought it was a mountain with snow. So I was asking him if he could figure out what theme I was going with. He's like, felt? Snow? He never got the velvet part. I just thought it was funny. So anyways, hopefully this looks like Christmas cake to you guys. He kind of scared me when he's like, it looks like a ski hill with snow on it. So hopefully that's just him, and that's not really what it looks like. But anyways, you could always use a pie, or you could put a bunch of the food with it, and then you know it's food. So anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Sorry for the rushed live today. Yeah, that's men. You should ask Jason what he thinks. If it's just ask him what he thinks this card looks like, or what this piece looks like. I just thought it was funny. And then Gavin's like, it's velvet. So apparently I have my boys trained. I just don't have my husband trained. Maybe he'll get there someday. So anyways, I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. I can't wait to get the paper pumpkin and play with it. Hopefully you guys ordered one as well. Oh, the new paper pumpkin for next month, they've released. I believe, I didn't print it out, but I believe it is gift packaging for Christmas. So I'll have to pull that out and show you guys next week what that's all about. And yeah, I'm so excited. Card Club is a go. You beat me to it, Yolande. So I still have 3 spots left, but we are going ahead and starting this month. So those are going to be in the mail right away, and I'm so excited. I made the cards on the weekend and they're super fun. So I can't wait to start that. And yeah, so hopefully we'll see you guys next week. And if you have friends that don't have Facebook and you want them to see these videos, make sure you let them know that these are on YouTube, and my link is on my Instagram, but I will try and put it when I post pictures of the projects in Facebook. It doesn't link in Instagram, but Facebook will link it, so then you could send them the link. Anyways, have a great rest of your week. Hopefully you stay warm with this new cold that's out there, and yeah, we'll see you guys later. Bye.